Am I the a-hole for walking out of a gender reveal party? My wife, 34, and I, 33, are having our second child. We have a daughter of 5. She's been grouchy her whole pregnancy, so her sister offered to plan her a gender reveal party. The plan was that all the food and decorations would be blue or pink, and in the end, we'd get one of those special sparklers that would light up in either blue or pink to reveal the gender. We went to the doctor and got her to write the result in a folded piece of paper that we passed over to her sister without looking. So flash forward to the day of the party and the moment of truth comes, and the sparkler turns out to be pink for a girl. I don't know what came over me, but all I felt at that moment was very bitter disappointment. To be honest, all I was hoping for baby number 2 is to be able to toss a ball around with him and coach Little League or watch him go on Boy Scouts camping trips. I know my daughter is only 5, but I've already started to deal with the dramas of being a father of a girl, and the thought of having to double up now on the neuroticism was harrowing. I grew up in a house with 3 older boys and 1 younger sister, and I can't imagine seeing myself be outnumbered. My wife grabbed my arm as people were approaching us to say their congratulations and said I needed to look happier. At that moment, I just snapped. I shook my head and walked out to my car. We came separately and drove to my sister's 21 female house. I started getting texts from my sister-in-law and my wife saying way to reenact their dad leaving their mom when they were 10 and 12. I felt like the accusation was unfair and that I just needed some time alone. I didn't ask to be flabbergasted. It just happened. And I don't think it's fair that they would have demanded I smile and nod for the next couple of hours. Am I the a-hole? They demand. It's your child. It's literally your child. When you have a kid and when you impregnate somebody, the chances of it becoming it coming out as a, what do you call it, a healthy baby, you don't know. A sick baby, you don't know. A boy, you don't know. A girl, you don't know. And he said, oh well, I only wanted my baby to be a son because I want to toss around ball and do this and do that, the stereotypical stuff that men usually do. But how do you know your son's gonna want to do that? Then you're going to be very disappointed and not like your son because he's not into masculine things that you want him to be into. Am I wrong for taking my kid's nanny on vacation and not my ex-wife? Throw away account just in case. The title may seem like a given, but it's not apparently. About 9 months ago, my current wife, 40 female, and I, 43 male, hired a nanny. I have 7 kids. That's a lot of kids. 4 from my previous marriage and 3 from my current. Anytime we go on vacation, I plan it around when my other kids are going to be in our custody so we can all go. Our nanny comes with us as well, as we discussed when she was hired. The problem actually starts when my youngest from my previous marriage, 7 female, returned to her mom's, and apparently all she talked about was the nanny. My ex-wife accused me of abandoning our kids onto our nanny, even though I don't. They just like hanging out with her. Yes, she is paid extra for the other kids. Every time my kids go back to their moms, she calls and texts me, infuriated. It all came to a head when I discussed going on a cruise with the kids, my wife, and the nanny over the summer because I have custody of them the entire summer. My ex-wife called me, calling me selfish, mean-spirited, and a horrible father, etc. She said I should have invited her instead of our nanny because she's the real mother and the kids already like the nanny more than her. What will happen in 3 months? And I never did things like these when we were married, even though I made significantly less money back then. Even my parents and some of my family are agreeing that taking our nanny and not the kid's mom is ridiculous. So am I the a-hole? Should I have at least offered her to go? If she feels some way about it, I feel like LP should definitely offer the mom to go. But I don't know why the mom would want to be there, to be honest, because his other wife is going to be there. His other kids are going to be there. It's their family now. Like, I don't want to be with my ex-husband and his new wife and their loud kids on a cruise for 3 months. But she is a mother, though, for the kids to be gone for 3 months, even though the dad technically has custody of them. As a good mom, I can see where she's coming from. Like, for her to be apart from her children for that long can be kind of sad. And yeah, like, what if the kids do like her? What if the kids like the nanny more than their own mom? And I understand. LP should definitely, offer his ex-wife an invitation. Am I wrong for changing our hotel reservations knowing my aunt can't afford it? I'm traveling to see my family in Central America next month. I normally rent a house near the beach and invite 2 to 5 extended family to stay with me and my family. This year, I extended the invitation to my Aunt Hillary, and she said yes. Then she called me the next day saying that she has to bring a kid and that she is babysitting while her friend is away. I said, okay, but the place I'm renting can only accommodate 9 people. She calls me again and said that we must invite my 12-year-old cousin and her sister. I said again that the place can only accommodate 9 people, and she said that she is fine sleeping on the floor. I said that is ridiculous. No one should sleep on the floor. After this back and forth, I decided to cancel the Airbnb and book 3 rooms in a remote hotel. Am I the a-hole for changing the hotel reservations knowing that my aunt can't afford transportation for her and 2 girls to get there? Edit. I have been talking to my aunt for 6 days straight about this, stating that the Airbnb can only accommodate 9 people. In the past, I have stated the Airbnb rules to my family, including the no pet policy, and guess what? Last time I met my cousin still brought her dog even though I said no and I was charged a penalty fee. I'm afraid that even though I have said no to my aunt, she might be bringing extra guests to the place. I am aware that this is a passive-aggressive move. She is still welcome and join us, but I doubt that she can afford 2, 3 ferry tickets or try to pull this I'm bringing extra guests because it should be fine with the homeowner at a hotel. If she decides to come without extra people, I will reimburse her ticket cost after the fact. Honestly, at that point, I would just tell everybody to go home because why can people just follow simple instructions? Am I wrong for telling my wife that her relationship with her brother is strange and I won't tolerate it anymore? My wife, 23 female, and I, 24 male, have been married for 5 years, together for 8 years. One of the problems I currently have is her relationship with her brother, 25 male, single. From the beginning of our relationship, they were very close, as their parents were neglectful, and I observed that. They became very attached. This wasn't a problem. In recent months, it's becoming extremely uncomfortable. Firstly, every time he visits us several times a month, my wife turns into a different person. She cleans more, cooks for him, almost never cooks otherwise, actually serves food to her brother, picks up his dishes and washes them, is willing to go out to do things, etc. Secondly, she becomes uncomfortably physical with her brother. It starts with recurring big hugs. Then when we watch TV together, she holds his hand or cuddles with him on the couch while I'm in a chair. When we go for a walk, she holds his hand and chats with him while I walk behind them. The same thing in the car. She also lies in the same bed as him, cuddling, holding his hand and talking to him while I'm in the apartment. She also tries to make it seem like it's not a big deal if her big brother sleeps in the same bed as her. For comparison, she shows a bit more physical affection to him than to me. When I talked to her about the relationship getting weird, she immediately got defensive and called me insecure, as well as disgusting for suggesting that their relationship is bordering on something else, which I did not imply, but you did imply. What? After a lot of circling discussions, I said I couldn't tolerate it anymore, and she got angry, saying I can't interfere in that. Right now, we're not speaking. Her brother also seems irritated with me. Am I the a-hole? Nothing OP said is like bordering anything, what do you call it, creepy. I don't know why he's feeling uncomfortable. I feel like because they didn't have anybody else and they only had themselves, that's why they have such a close bond. And they're not doing anything weird. I mean, I am one who's against creepy, incestuous relationships, but I don't think this is creepy or incestuous. They're just 2 siblings who had nobody else but themselves, so they're just very, very close. Maybe she's just trying to comfort her brother one way or the other. But either or, I don't know. Like, there's nothing wrong here. OP just might be a little bit jealous. He's being left out, and that's all. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment sections, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Am I wrong for telling my husband he should have just married a white woman? For context, I'm a black woman and my husband is white. I have 4C hair and I wrap my hair in a satin scarf to go to bed. For those of you who don't know what that means, basically my hair curl pattern, why did I say like that? Pattern is really tightly coiled, so my hair texture is kinky and easily tangled and easily breakable if not taken care of well. I used to sleep on a satin pillowcase when my hair was shorter and had a lower chance of tangling while I tossed and turned in my sleep. But recently, I've added oils to my nightly routine, and since my hair is a bit past my shoulders now, the chances of it tangling are higher, and I don't want my pillowcases to get soaked with oils, so I started wrapping my hair up again. First night I wore it, my husband said that I look like a slave. which, okay, was a little bit funny and a little bit true in my scarf and nightgown combo, so I let him have that one. But since then, it's the little comments when I get into bed, like, are we doing the slaves tonight? Yo, this is not even funny. Are we doing the slave tonight? Or should I help you into bed, Grandma? Little things like that. I've explained why I do it, and I think he understands that, but he simply doesn't like it, and my hope is that he'd get used to it by now. Last night, I was getting ready for bed and I couldn't find my scarf anywhere, so I asked my husband if he'd seen it, because I don't know what DH means, y'all. If he'd seen it, and he admitted that he hid it, but wouldn't tell me where. He wouldn't stop joking around even when I got visibly upset and said he wished he could run his fingers through my hair or something along those lines. And I snapped and said if he wanted that, he should have married a white woman. He got really quiet after that and told me where he hid it. We haven't talked much about it, but there is this air of awkwardness. The only times he mentioned it was this morning when he said that we should look into counseling for our race issues and that I made him feel really racist, and I didn't think about it that way. I thought he was upset because I yelled at him, but I didn't think it was the statement itself. Granted, probably should not have brought race into it, but I wanted to illustrate a point. Now he's suggesting couples counseling to get through our quote unquote race issues. I don't think it was that serious, and I don't want to go through all of that. Am I the a hole? First of all, I keep laughing because this is a laughable story. Not only OP's husband's audacity, but the how do you say like how dumb and naive OP is. Race issues, slave jokes in 2024. Okay. Am I the a-hole for not paying for my daughter's wedding because she invited my brother and his family? I'm 46 male, my brother 48 male. When I was 20, my then girlfriend cheated with my brother. I was heartbroken and pissed. I told him he's no longer my brother. Despite my request, my family didn't cut him off. So I told him that I will never again be in the same place as he is. If they wish to invite both, then they should just invite him as I am the one given ultimate. My daughter is getting married in spring next year. In our culture, both parents are paying for the wedding, 50-50. Unexpectedly, my daughter sat me down and told me that she will be inviting my brother and his family. He married my cheating ex. Apparently, she was seeing them for the last 4 years and built a relationship behind my back. She even wants her cousin to be some kind of flower girl. I was pissed. I told her what my boundaries are, and if my brother is invited, then I will not pay part of the wedding. She became angry and told me it's time to let go of the past. I told her it's not her call to make. We argued some more, and she told me I'm making her wedding about myself. I told her I will probably not even attend, so it will be all about her. She left crying. My ex-wife called me screaming and told me I'm a huge a-hole, and her daughter is crushed. Then my parents called, same thing. I told them off and now I'm ignoring their calls. My girlfriend told me to reconsider and apologize, that by not paying and attending, I will break relationship with my daughter. I don't know. I think my boundaries should be respected. Am I the ill for that? I feel like OP has 100% rights for his boundaries to be respected, especially when it's such a big thing like this. Like, I hate when somebody's going through such like huge arguments with their family or a disagreement of some sort, and somebody else butts in and tells them, "Oh, it's in the past. You should just forgive them." You can't tell people what they should forget and what they should forgive. Like, it's their personal choice and their personal boundaries. If somebody sets boundaries, if you don't like it, then you don't like it. I feel like if OP doesn't want to pay for his daughter's wedding and he doesn't want to attend, he should just stick to that. Because at the end of the day, he's a grown man who's capable of making his decision, and he shouldn't be able to. He shouldn't be like so willing to forgive somebody just because someone else wants to keep the peace. For what? If my dad didn't like someone, especially someone who did them dirty, I wouldn't even want to be near them. That's first of all. But some of y'all don't know nothing about writing for your parents. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife's friends and family they have no say in her funeral? My wife passed away suddenly 2 months ago in a car crash. She was only 26. My wife's best friend, J and B, both insisted on being involved in the funeral process because my wife has given them specific instructions in the event of an early death. My parents, however, offered to pay for the funeral if it was done in their Southern Baptist church and she was buried. They said that it was better that way, so I can use the life insurance money to buy a house for me and my daughter. Here's the problem. My wife is not Christian or any domination. Her friends told me that she wanted to be cremated. She didn't want a church funeral. She didn't want any flowers, and she definitely didn't want a viewing. She wanted people just to let her rest and celebrate her life. My parents think this is a tacky way to mourn. How you going to tell somebody how they can't and couldn't mourn? What? I told her friends what my plans were, and they were pretty upset with me. They got my in laws involved and my wife's brothers. Her parents and her grandmother all begged me not to hold the funeral at our church. I tried explaining to everyone that my parents are paying for it and they want it done their way. No one was listening to me though, and after a few days of thinking it over, I made a group text telling everyone that they have no say in how I plan my wife's funeral. Everyone was upset. Nobody has talked to me since her burial. I'm upset because I feel like everyone left me to grieve by myself. I'm feeling like an a-hole. I already see some common question in this post, so I'll get it out of the way. My daughter is not her daughter. We were only together for 2 years, so we didn't really get a chance to discuss death, and it made me uncomfortable to do so. Okay, I don't get it. He's saying he thinks that the family of his dead wife isn't there for him as he's grieving. But he said his parents think the way those people grieve is tacky. I don't get it. What do you want them to do? Like, imagine your child dying, or your friend dying, or your sister dying, and someone telling you, well, I don't know how y'all grieve over there, but it's a bit tacky and ghetto and ratchet. And what we do here is a bit classy. Like, stick to your family's classy mourning ways. And I don't know what to tell you because you literally chose money over your own wife's wants and needs. So, I don't know. Anyways, what do you guys think of the stories? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. The first one was a bit psychotic, but these stories, they never get any easier, but they're very fun to read and they're even more fun to, listen to. So I hope you guys enjoy. Am I wrong for telling my infertile sister that she isn't in a position to be a mother? 25 female, my sister 28 female, Mary and her husband 30 Jack. I love how they describe people like that. Started trying for a baby 3 years ago. They met with the obstetrician a year ago, who unfortunately informed them that Mary is infertile and her body would never be able to produce or carry a child. This was devastating news for Mary, as she has wanted to be a mother since we were children. Luckily, this has not hurt Mary and Jack's relationship. They began looking into other options such as surrogacy and adoption. A big obstacle is their finances, though. Mary was able to go to college, our parents helped, and attended, but later decided college wasn't for her and left. Jack didn't have that option and works at a grocery store. Mary is also employed at Wendy's at the moment, but lost several jobs in the past because their annual income is under 40,000 and their housing also isn't stable at the moment. They have been denied by adoption agencies and cannot afford surrogacy. Mary and Jack recently invited me to their home and asked if I would be willing to be a surrogate. They were unable to offer financial aid or even prenatal care and hoped I'd do it as a favor. I should explain that I'm only 100 pounds. When my mother was pregnant, she had hard pregnancies and needed C-sections both times. Her pregnancy with me especially high risk. Doctor did not expect me nor my mother to make it. Luckily, we were okay, but I am scared to experience pregnancy at all, and especially the risk. I am even smaller, frailer than my mother was. I apologized, but told them I wasn't willing to be a surrogate. Jack was clearly disappointed, but told me he understood. Mary became very angry. She started screaming at me, saying that I was only declining because I was jealous and was rubbing it in her face that they didn't make enough money for a professional surrogate. This came out of nowhere to me. She then demanded that I be a good sister and help fund a professional surrogate. My annual income is higher than Jack and Mary's, but I cannot afford a surrogate either. I tried getting Mary to calm down, which she did, but she kept saying I was only refusing out of jealousy, cruelty towards her. I'm so confused. How exactly are you going to ask somebody for help and then tell them that they're jealous of you? I, as kindly yet firmly as possible, told her, Mary, I'm sorry you are unable to carry your child and it's not fair. You are allowed to be upset, but it doesn't mean you can act this way towards me. The fact is that you and Jack need to wait until you are in a financial stable state to have children. You two are not in a position to be parents right now. Emphasis on right now. Mary told me to leave and I obeyed. Family members are for the most part not calling me an a-hole for denying surrogacy, but for telling Mary she isn't in a position to have a child. They said I was digging the knife deeper than it already was, but I never even implied Mary would be a bad parent, or Jack.
I said they weren't ready now and needed to wait until they were financially in a good place. Am I just insensitive? No, she's definitely not insensitive. OP didn't do anything wrong. First of all, it's really sad when people go through infertility, whether it's men or women. Like if you want a child and you can't have it, that's really sad. But on the other side of that, how are you going to ask somebody to risk their life to carry a child for you, and then when they decline, you call them jealous and what do you call it, cruel? Like at the end of the day, having like literally carrying a baby and birthing a baby is risking your life. Women, do you know how many women die each year of childbirth complications? And then on top of that, unfortunately, I really do not like it when people act like finances doesn't contribute to raising a child. At the end of the day, it's sad. It is what it is in the economy. It is like, the economy is bad, we know, but at the end of the day, children need money for you to raise them. They may not need for you to be Bill Gates rich, but they need you to afford the bare minimum necessities. And from the sound of it, OP sister doesn't seem like she can afford that right now, or her husband. I don't know. Like, and I know someone's gonna say, "Well, yeah, you think poor people don't deserve children." I don't think anybody deserves a child just because you think you deserve a. Children are not they're not thing to deserve. They're human beings who have a lot of needs, and if you can't meet those needs, then you simply shouldn't have them. I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Am I wrong for bringing up my stepbrother's cheating after he demanded I hug my girlfriend less? My 21 male girlfriend, 24 female, and I had been dating for 2 years. Our love story was pretty simple. My coworker and I were regulars at a restaurant, and she was our server almost every time we went. Basically, my coworker set us up for our first date, and we've been dating since. She's the best thing that happened to me. My stepbrother, 22 male, and his girlfriend, 22 female, love story is a little more complicated. They met in 12th grade, and they dated until they graduated. She caught him cheating on her, and they broke up for a year before she took him back. Like 6 months later, she caught him cheating again, and they broke up again for another year. She took him back again, and they've been dating for the last year and a bit. Anyway, my girlfriend and I were visiting my dad, stepmom, and stepbrother. His girlfriend was visiting too. My girlfriend and I were sitting on a couch, my dad was on a chair, and my stepmom and stepbrother's girlfriend were on the other couch. My girlfriend was leaning against me, and I had my arm around her. My stepbrother came into the room and sat next to his girlfriend, just as my dad commented about us being a happy couple. My girlfriend smiled and agreed, as I kissed the top of her head. Oh, that is so cute. A little while, my stepbrother pulled me aside and asked me to stop being so affectionate with her because he's afraid his girlfriend may want more affection. I told him I wasn't being that affectionate. All I did was kiss the top of her head. Then he started demanding I stop being affectionate because he was worried that his girlfriend was going to leave him. Here's where I might be the a-hole. I refused and said, "You should have thought about that before you cheated on her." He got quiet and called me an a-hole before going upstairs. I'm going to add here, this isn't the first time he's brought this up. Just about every time we visit, he has some problem with me hugging and kissing my girlfriend. When I kissed her, it isn't even a long drawn out kiss or anything. It's just a quick peck on her cheek or lips. I've been less affectionate when he's around, but I'm not stopping completely. I feel like OP's stepbrother, he doesn't want him being like all affectionate and sweet and kind because he doesn't want his girlfriend to see like an example of a man being good to his women. Because if she does, then she's gonna start requiring that of him. And clearly, since he's such a fornicator, he's not going to provide that. So it's just projection. Am I wrong for telling my brother's now ex-fiance the truth of why my parents don't talk to him, which resulted in their breakup? My parents haven't spoken to my brother in over a decade. This is their choice. They have essentially disowned him. There are multiple reasons that they did this and have refused to speak to him, but there is one massive incident they have not gotten over. My parents saved up a large amount of money that was supposed to be split between my brother, my sister, and me for our college fund. At the time he was supposed to go to college 10 years ago, his share was a little over $60K. My brother faked an acceptance letter and used that to access the money with full understanding that this was for his college education. He somehow convinced my parents to give him full access to the money as a lump sum. He then used it to invest in a friends get rich quick pyramid scheme business that went under in less than a year. When my parents learned that, I can't believe people still do that. When my parents learned that he didn't even apply to any college and lied to get the money, they cut him off.
Over the years, he's gotten involved in other schemes and still owes his ex-best friend 35K in debt from gambling and alt crypto coins. All these things have just convinced my parents he's a reckless manipulator, and they essentially pretend he just doesn't exist. My brother has been trying to put his life together the past year or so. He met his now ex-fiancée sometime during the pandemic, and they got engaged 3 months ago after they found out she was pregnant. I've met her a few times but don't know her very well. My sister and I still talk to our brother occasionally, but we're not close. A few weeks ago, my brother's ex-fiancée called and asked if I would clarify a few things about our parents. She said she wanted to test the waters to see if she was going to reach out to see if they wanted to have a relationship with their grandchild. I have a suspicion, though, that she wasn't buying the lie my brother was telling her about the relationship. My brother told his ex-fiancée that my parents had cut him off because he had dropped out of college. She didn't know he actually never went to college and about the money he stole. I corrected that and told her the truth. I knew I kicked the hornet's nest because she ended the conversation quickly after. I also made the mistake of telling my mom about this conversation because she found my brother's ex-fiancée on Instagram and started talking to her there. After I told her, she pretty much gave her every reason to break up with him, and she took her advice and did. I was conflicted until last night when my brother called me up, furious and screaming. Ex-fiancée has been ghosting my brother since she broke up. And last night, she revealed she had an abortion and told him never to talk to her again. He sounded like he was going off the rails again, and I had to hang up and block his number because of how mad he was. I talked to my sister, and despite not liking him that much, she told me that this was beyond acceptable on my part. I feel responsible in a way now and don't know what to think about my actions now. Well, you did tell him his whole entire past and business to his fiancée, causing him a breakup between him and his fiancée. The engagement is now off. They're not going to get married, and he's not going to have a baby because the baby has gone back to heaven. So I think OP, you just might be at fault here. I don't know though. What do you guys think? Am I wrong for getting into an argument with my boyfriend for defending his serial cheating colleague? I really want to know if my actions are wrong from this argument, so I need your help. Me, 24 female, and my boyfriend, 24 male, have been in a relationship for the past 5 years, with 3 years as long distance, so FaceTime and online dates are the only means of communication for us at the moment. People date and get engaged to people they've actually never seen in real life, so I don't think that's bad. Anyways, so we were casually sharing our day-to-day activities, and it was his time to share on his day. There's a coworker of my boyfriend, let's call him Ben. Ben has been in a kind of relationship with a woman with one kid, let's call the woman Betty. Some background on their relationship. Betty is married but separated from their previous husband, dad of Betty's kids, and they haven't applied for divorce. Soon-to-be ex-hubby threw him out of his house, and she was on the verge of being homeless. Ben and Betty knew each other from their childhood, so as a support, Ben asked Betty to live with him. He wanted someone to look after his house and his dog, so he took this as an opportunity to help her financially and benefit his side too. So the thing is, they are intimate frequently. He considers this arrangement as a situationship, but she considers this as a relationship. Now the thing is, Ben's a serial cheater. He disgustingly objectifies women, so my opinion might be kind of based. So Ben had a relationship which lasted 1 week. On the third day, the girl says she's been married for 1 year. So basically, this woman is cheating on her husband with Ben. Now here comes the problem. My boyfriend said I can't believe that woman is cheating when she's married. I asked what he meant by that, and my boyfriend implied that as the woman is married, her level of cheating is more serious than the scale of cheating Ben's doing to Betty. That got me mad. I said both of them cheated on their significant others, so both of them are on the same level of serious cheating. Now, I don't tolerate cheating in any way, so that may be why I got triggered. He kept on trying to justify Ben's action by saying Ben is helping Betty in her time of need, providing for her, and giving her a place to sleep. I said Betty thinks this is a serious relationship, and Ben has not made it clear to Betty that they're in a situationship. I continue that Ben is using Betty for intimacy and household duties when she's vulnerable in a time of need, which is completely taking advantage of Betty, while cheating on the other side for his pleasure. Boyfriend seems to not get my point and thinks cheating after marriage is not as serious as cheating before marriage. All I'ma say is birds of a feather flock together. That's all I'm gonna say. OP, you better sleep with one eye open. One eye open. And on top of that, they're what she say? They do long distance. Yeah, that's not your man. Trigger warning on this one. It involves assault. I married a rapist. What the F do I do now? My husband's son showed up 3 days ago. My husband sent him away, and he came back a few hours later when my husband was gone. He asked me to hear him out. I did. He has the genetic test to prove it. My husband did one few years ago. He's adopted. It made sense. Apparently, he's his son. Pinged on the system. Fine, whatever. He told me he wanted to know what kind of monster I'd marry. His mom was 17 when he was born. My husband was 26. He is older, and I've always told people he's not like that, Not some creep. We just connected. I asked my husband about it, and he said he didn't know how old she was at the time. Dipped and moved away whenever she came clean. Left her with their baby. His son and I are still in contact, and he's insisting his mom was raped. I don't want to say that word, y'all. They're going to prosecute now. There's more evidence. I don't know if he means violent rape or if it's just because she was underage. I feel so sick. I know what he did was wrong, but it could have been an accident, right? Genuinely didn't know her age or something. I haven't spoken to him properly since the day his son visited. What do you even say in this situation? I feel so bad for OP because honestly, what do you say in this situation? Like, that is very, very crazy thing. Imagine you're just chilling, you're living your life, and then boom, you find out. Oh my God, I don't know if I read the story yet. I think I did. There was a story of a woman who found out that, like, when she got married to her husband, they had a baby a year into their, like, marriage and her having a baby and everything. That apparently her husband used to work in a morgue, and he used to, like, assault. And yeah, I'm talking about, like, assault, rape, technically, the dead female bodies. And because he had some sort of sickness or something, they found it in her. And when she went to the doctor was like, well, why would you have this disease? It was like one of the sexually transmitted diseases, necrophilia or something like that. No, necrophilia is the act of sleeping with the dead. She had something. I don't know. She had some sort of disease or something. And the doctor was like, oh, you have a disease. And is it possible that you're doing necrophilia and that you work in a morgue? She's talking about, I don't work in a morgue, but my husband does. Anyways, long story short, come to find out that her husband has been working in the morgue for like years before they even met and after they met. And he has been assaulting dead female workers the whole entire time he's been working there. The whole entire time. There was also like a story I heard, like I think I read it on Facebook a while back of a woman who also has some sort of disease, some sexually transmitted disease, and when she went to the doctor told her that you must what do you do exactly? What is it that you're doing? Because there's no way you can have this without doing the dead. Apparently her boyfriend, whom she went on a couple of dates, or whom she was dating for like a short period of time, was also working in the morgue doing that. Like, that's so disgusting. People have such horrifying past. They have such horrifying activities that they were doing before they met you. Like, imagine someone telling you, oh yeah, your husband did X, Y, and Z, and now your life is ruined. Because why? Because someone wanted to do some disgusting deed. And they're 26 and 17 is crazy. I don't know what no one says. That's crazy.